Well, here we are again in the month of December, and one of the activities that a lot of our gardeners are doing starting this time of year and continuing on through the winter months is feeding birds. So here we are at Johnson's Mill with Donna Johnson, and she is going to talk to you a little bit about some of her different bird feeders and different bird feed types, and hopefully tell you what you need to do to attract birds to your home. Here, Donna.
Okay, I'll give it my best shot. We have several different types of bird feeders. We have from the inexpensive to the lifetime warranty quality bird feeders. So there's a wide range. You can get into bird feeding relatively inexpensively. You don't have to have anything really fancy. Right here is a selection of our bird feeders. These are all mainly these three right here, of course, are plastic, but that works fine. We've got this one all metal, so if you have problems with squirrels, your squirrels would still eat the bird seed, but they would not eat your feeder. So that's a plus of having a metal bird feeder. These would take the black oil sunflower seeds, which almost every bird loves, or a wild bird mix. You can find a wide range of wild bird mixes when you're choosing a wild bird mix, which we'll discuss a little bit later, but you want to look for something that your birds will enjoy and like. Also, this time of year, you need to think about water. We don't think that, but they do get thirsty, and you have to have a water source for them. If you're not close to a creek or something, you can get any kind of bird bath stand, or you can use just a tin pan if you'd like to do that. If you have something deep, be sure and put some rocks in it, because birds do not need to be immersed in the water this time of year, and they could sit on the rocks and still get their water there. Over here we have suet. It's really good this time of year to use suet, because as it gets cooler they need more energy, and the suet is a high energy feed for them. And you can buy bird feeders that have suet holders on the side. You can make your own suets. There's several recipes online, or we have some things here we can tell you about. Another thing is keeping your bird feeder fresh. If you have a tube feeder such as this, a lot of times at the bottom it'll get moldy. You do not want that to happen. So if you put a product like the Feeder Fresh in the bottom of it, it will keep it from being moldy. On that thought, whenever you change your bird feed once or twice a month, it would be preferable if it's every time you add bird seed. You want to pour the old bird seed out and mix in the new, but before you put the new in, you want to wash your bird feeder in a mixture of Clorox and water, or any kind of bleach. It doesn't have to be that brand. And then let it air dry out in the sun, because birds do pass like pink eye conjunctivitis, and by doing that you're killing any kind of molds that would make them sick, and also any kind of infection that they could develop that way. For those who like the bluebirds, we have the dried mealworms. You need to put them in something open, such as the gazebo type feeder. Of course, this feeder would also be great for any kind of bird mix or just sunflower seed. You can also, again, just use your metal pie pan. A trick that they always say to use for your bluebirds to train them to come is whenever you put out the bluebird dried mealworms, is either whistle or ring a bell, and that will train them like you train chickens or your dogs or anything to listen for that, and that way you can enjoy them instead of just putting out the product and then going inside not getting to see them feed. This time of year, one of the favorite birds that we have requests for to learn how to attract is the goldfinch. The male starts getting very bright this time of year, and the female is a little brighter than what she has been during the summer months. And you need to feed them they like, of course, sunflower seed. They love those, or thistle seed, or Niger thistle seed. And we have another product that we sell, a lot of people are happy with. It's called Finch's Feast. It's got your thistle seed. It has the combination of your sunflower seeds, and then it has canary seed in it. Because thistle seed can be a little expensive, this is one way that you can make your thistle seed last a little longer and still enjoy those bright yellow birds. If you were going to go with a product like the Finch's Feast that has a canary seed in it, you would want a feeder like this one. It has a bigger area for it to come in, or even one of the plastic ones that have this one right here. The spiral is really neat because the birds run up and down the spiral. Or just a port. Either one of those would do well with just plain Niger seed or the Finch's Feast. If you would prefer, you can just use a thistle sock, and they're fun to watch too. We have even some that's like Santa Claus this time of year with a Santa sock. Because the seed is smaller, it just doesn't do as well if you use the Finch's Feast. As we move around here, we have the clingers. The thing that they like is whenever they feed, they like to be able to hold on with their feet and feed. This is the no-no feeder. It has no plastic and no metal. So even though if you would have some issues with your squirrels, they're not going to destroy your feeder. They might take your wild bird seed, your sunflower seeds, usually what works best in this one. Then we have the easy feeder right here. The thing about this, by having a smaller feeder, is your bigger birds do not eat the seeds when you're wanting just the smaller birds to be able to feed. Something that people either love or hate are woodpeckers. This feeder right here, or even this larger one for your bigger feeders, your bigger woodpeckers, are really good. It's got the ports to where they can do it just like they were on a tree, or they can go through the mesh of the side right there. You can have a lot of fun by sitting out and watching the squirrels. If you've ever taken just a moment, they can be acrobats, and something to enhance that would be the squungy. It's a bungee, and you put 2 ears of corn on it and put it out where they can find it, and as they get on it, they bounce up and down. Another thing a lot of people like is just to put the corn out on a tree or a pole, and we have this tractor ornament. You can also make one at home. I'm sure you've probably seen these. Just take a board and make like a little picnic table. We have lots of people that use those. We sell the corn on the cob, and that is just fun to watch. You can feed shelled corn or even striped sunflower seed to squirrels, but it's just fun to watch them gnaw the corn off the cob. If you are not a squirrel fan and you get aggravated at them stealing your sunflower seeds or your wild bird mix, we have several different feeders that can help you in the battle. The easiest squirrel-proof feeder we have is called the Effortless Squirrel-Proof Feeder, and as you can see, you just release the pin, slide the feeder down, then you can add your seed. When you get done, you pull it back up. You can see that when the birds come to the bottom tray, if they spill, you don't have the mess under your bird feeder because it has a seed tray. Of course, it has holes in it that let the water fall out. And then when you have it at home, you'll put something heavy like sand in the bottom there of the base. Then we have several different ones. This is called the seed vault. Whenever a squirrel or a heavy bird, if you have trouble with crows or doves stealing your seed and you don't want to feed them, you can set the tension to where it's lighter to where a heavier bird will shut it. This is the same principle here. My next feeder is actually going to be this one, the Squirrel Buster. It doesn't take batteries. It doesn't take any kind of recharging of batteries. The squirrel gets on it and it just shuts it down. It comes completely disassembled, so when you clean it, as we discussed earlier, you don't have all the nooks and crannies to try to clean. You can just take it apart and clean it. This is made by the same company. It's like this right here. One of the first squirrel-proof feeders we ever carried was called the Flipper. It's made by Droll Yankees. This one and the Droll Yankee feeders here, the Flipper and the Tipper, both come with a lifetime warranty. When a squirrel gets on it, or you can set the tension to a heavier bird, it twirls and it will sling the squirrel off. On this one, when the squirrel gets on it, it just knocks them off. This one does take rechargeable batteries. Of course, this one doesn't. The Squirrel Buster people have a larger one too. All these feeders take either sunflower seed or a mix. Either way would work. We spoke earlier about water, something that helps the birds to be more attracted to the water is the water wiggler. You can put that in your bird stand, in your bird feeder. We have a heated bird bath. We sell those. Or if you've got one that you've already got there that's your favorite, you can just add a bird bath de-icer to it. One of the best things you can do to help your birds stay healthy is to be sure and clean the bird seed from underneath your feeder. If you feed a type of feed that has shells, such as sunflower seeds or husks or hulls, you need to rake it. It's good if you could rake it every week or every time, but even if not, every other time would be fine. Just keep it clean, because the seed there can draw moisture and it will mold and mildew, and then again causing your birds to be sick. Whenever you're choosing a type of feed to feed your birds, the most popular, of course, is just sunflower seeds. The black oil is a smaller seed, and that works for a variety of birds. Almost every bird likes black oil sunflower seeds. If you go with a mix, you can tell whenever you pick up a package what's in it. It will have a label and it'll tell you the different products. This one just says grain products, millet, sunflower seed, and peanut heart. And if you can see in here, it's got a lot of the millets. The birds that prefer the millets are your doves, which are very a good bird to attract. I like them myself, but if you find a cheaper feed, a lot of times it has more millet than one that's a little bit more expensive. The next one we have, if you can tell, this wild bird mix has a lot more sunflower seeds. It does have safflower seed in it. Safflower seed is a seed that you can buy separate, just safflower seed by itself. The squirrels do not prefer that. It's not their favorite. So if you're having trouble with squirrels, if you can gradually mix them over to a safflower seed, that's another way to deter them. You can see that this one does have some millet in it, but not much. And this one actually has pieces of fruit, some cherry and some raisins. They're very small. It's hard to see in this packaging here. We actually have a blend of our own. It's called Wild Wings Buffet. Of course, it's my favorite because it's one that I came up with. It's got striped sunflower seed, which your bigger birds like. It's got the black oil sunflower seeds, has sunflower kernels and chips, and it has peanut pieces. It has no filler seed. That's what the millets usually refer to as a filler seed. So it is a little bit more expensive as far as if you're comparing by pounds, but when you compare the type of feed, it's kind of comparing maybe hamburger to steak. We like them both, but one's a little bit more expensive. If you are having trouble with squirrels, something to consider would be the Coles Hot Meats. It has chili pepper sprayed on it. This one right here is shelled, or we have a blend that has some millet in it and some corn, and also some shelled sunflower seed and some not shelled sunflower seed. If you have a mix of your own that you like and you want to stick with it, we do have the Coles hot sauce, which is the same thing that's in here. You mix a couple tablespoons to 5 pounds and let it sit for a little bit, and then put it in your feeder. Birds do not have taste buds, so it doesn't hurt the birds. The squirrels do have taste buds, but it's just like us when we bite into a hot pepper. It's nothing that's going to damage them permanently. If they don't like it, they just run away from it. We do want to encourage you, whether you purchase your seed from us or someone else, or your feeders from us or someone else, to take time. We say nature is God's natural stress reliever, and it's a lot better than what we can see on TV sometimes.